Good evening. We're going to go over a watch list for the low floats. For those that don't really know me or know my trading history, my first couple of years was nothing but low floats, so that's where my expertise has been. Then I kind of like the low floats had like a lull for a while, so I decided to get into options, and I haven't looked back since options. So I've been kind of like watching the low floats the last couple of weeks, few weeks, just keeping getting, seeing where things are and what's been going on and stuff like that. So I'm going to be getting back into the low floats in addition with my options now that I get good grasp on the room and the way I have it set up. I'm happy with everything the way it's set up. So now I can start focusing on not just options but low floats too, and that's what I'm going to be doing. So the first thing that you see is SRNE. They had news on coronavirus on Friday, so they may see some continuation. So for tomorrow, so I would watch for a continuation over 750 if it does get it, but it is showing a descending wedge. And trading low floats is not the same as trading options. It's a completely different animal. You can't expect that it's going to be always have volume, because they're not. These low floats don't always have volume like options, like the Facebook and Google and those guys, because they always have a ton of volume all the time, and these low floats don't. The volume's hit and miss, and you just got to time it right, and you just got to play it a certain way. And once you know how to play the low floats, it's very easy to do. And so SRNE had news. It's probably going to have continuation tomorrow, so you can keep an eye on that over 750. But if it starts to run, some other ones that like bottoms that I'd be looking at is DRAD, DRAD. I would keep an eye on them. The last time it got down into this low of 230s and the 230s, that it got pumped a few days later. So I would watch DRAD for probably a pump coming soon. Let's see, FWP. I know that ran just a few days ago, and if the low floats decide to run, this thing's gonna run too. So I would keep an eye on FWP. And it's also a farmer play. So if biotech gets hot, if the coronavirus starts making more news, or we have some more good news in the biotech area, that this could probably run with it for sympathy. So all it takes is one biotech, and all the biotech low floats will start running with it. Or if it's a penny, they won't run with the pennies. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. But like I said, I'm not going to watch the pennies that much. But this is mostly the low floats. FWP. I know DSS was another one that ran, so that likes to run with when the low floats stop picking up. So I mean, it did pop a little Friday, and it's popped a little here, but it hasn't had a big run, and it just had a recent reverse split. So it'll probably fade under 8. I mean, if you can get it under $8, as you can see, I have it right here. $8, $7.60, these areas to watch. If it does break down, I might get in. So DSS is going to let it fade and maybe try to get it under 8 and hold for for some news and stuff like that. So DSS, definitely like that. BNTC is another one. BNTC. Well, the thing with BNTC is that it's still kind of high in the $8 range. I mean, I don't really want to buy it there. I mean, it could run, but I'd rather see it under $6, and then I'd be interested. So I'd watch this for probably a fade. I mean, sometimes these things when they consolidate in this area, they have a quick nosedive, and if it gets under 6, I want to grab it. So I'll be watching that one. Another one to watch is costs. I mean, same thing pretty much. I would like to see it a little lower, like around $1, but I'll keep an eye on that. Let's see. Now we got a couple. Pixy's another one. Pixy's another one that's keep an eye on. See if it gets under. The under $5 is definitely where I'd like to see it. But if the low floats start running, Pixy's probably one that's gonna be on a lot of people's radars. So if the lower the float, the more it goes on less volume. So that's what I'd focus on, the ones with the lowest volume, and if it's theme related. So if China happens to run, there's a couple China ones I'd watch, like IMTE. I mean, it's been consolidating right in here for a while. I mean, it had a little pop right here, but that was last month. So IMTE I would watch. It's a China, and CREG had reverse split recently, and it's probably going to end up getting pumped soon, because every time these things reverse split, they fade for a few days, then they get a big pump, and they take off, then they get diluted, and the stock goes to crap after it gets diluted. Then they end up getting reverse splitting again. It's just a vicious, never-ending cycle of reverse split, fade, pump, then a dilution. So that's the name of the game, and that's how these things are. CREG is one I'd watch, and another one is JRJC. Pretty much, I mean, it's pretty cheap down here. It gets under $4, I'd really be interested. So I would keep an eye on JRGC if the China low floats start to take off. So I will make a video about how to trade these things, because these things are kind of tricky to trade. But I mean, I've done it for a couple of years. I did it very, very well, and it just had like I said, had a little lull where they weren't getting no action. So I don't like trading pennies, but I might change my mind and get into pennies, because that's where been a lot of money's been at lately. But anyways, when the low floats died out, I went into options and just haven't looked back. So like I said, I'm going to get back into it. And make sure you subscribe to this channel, because it's on a new channel. And I think that is pretty much it. Oh no, there's one other one that we need to keep an eye on. Let's see, BPMX, I believe. I know it's at 50 cents, but they have a real split coming on Tuesday, and it's a biotech. The new float's going to be 1.2 million, and if biotech is hot tomorrow, and this thing will probably make a little pop on a reverse split day, then it'll probably fade a few days and let it fade, and once it fades, buy the dip and wait for the PR, then it will dilute. So just keep an eye on the BPMX for a reverse split, and that's pretty much going to do it for the low floats. I mean, there's a few more out there that I'm just not really interested in right now. Their prices are too high, so I'll keep an eye on any news that develops for the low floats, and I will say something in the room if they come up. Okay, thanks.